Hello, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, my name is Jo and with my husband Andy we are Park Pioneer. We post videos all about Disney parks, pins and merch, and today we're taking part in Mer-May. So Mer-May was organised by Pauleen and Phil over at Mouse and Mermaid, who we will leave linked down in the description box below, and they've organised an entire month of mermaid themed collaborations with a bunch of other channels, and we're one of the channels. So this week's Mer-May is all about mermaid DIY. So given that I'm the one who did the DIY, I've taken over the channel on my own. So I'll be honest, the DIY that I've done isn't what I originally intended to do, but you will see my original DIY attempt, yeah, in a couple of weeks. But for today, the DIY that we've gone for is mermaid scrunchies, which I'm currently wearing on my wrists because I've got another one in my hair. So I decided to make some mermaid scrunchies using fat quarters that I had from Hobbycraft. I'll try and zoom in on the fabric, but I don't know if it'll really show very well whilst it's in bubble form. But yeah, I will show you how to make some scrunchies so that you don't need to worry about mermaid hair. So this is fabric choice number 1 from the fat quarter bundle. This is the second one from the set. And we've got this one that says mermaids have more fun and waves for days, and it's just like silhouettes. And then I think this one might be my favourite, the one that's got Flounder and Sebastian. I've then also got this fabric, which is for making for a Disney bound, which you will see in a couple of weeks, but I might make some scrunchies with that as well. And then I've also got some elastic, because obviously you need elastic for a scrunchie. So I'm going to start actually making them with this purple fabric from the bundle. I should probably iron the fabric before I start, but I'm not going to. So I've just cut a strip off. I think you're supposed to use fabric that's like 3.5 inches wide and about 20 inches long, but this is near enough that, so with really poor cutting from me, yeah, it'll be fine. So once you've got your fabric, you want to turn it so that it's the side of the fabric that you don't want to be the outside bit. So if you've got double-sided fabric, or like me, if you've just got one side, it's the non-patterned side. And then you just fold in about, is that about an inch? I don't know. Just a section fold in, because that becomes then like your pressed edge, so it's like the neat edge. And then you also want to fold the fabric in half, so you've got like an open edge there, and then that's the folded side. I'm doing this with a bigger piece of fabric so that it's easier to see, because it's quite fiddly when it's filming and doing it. Really badly stitched, this one, but you can see there's just a cylinder of fabric, and at one end you've got a nice neat edging, and at the other it's the rough edging. We're then going to pull fabric through on itself so that it's facing the right way. So you literally just push it all through on itself so that it turns the right way round. I then got some elastic. I've read a few different things about how long the elastic should be, and the general consensus seems to be about 9 inches of elastic for an adult scrunchie, but I think it goes off how thick your hair is. So personally I like it to have as little amount of elastic as possible so that I can stretch the elastic more, but yeah, basically you measure some elastic out. So if you're not sure, go with 9 inches of elastic, and then hook it onto a safety pin and use that to pull it through the fabric tunnel that you've created. And keeping hold of one end and just pushing it all the way through, the scrunchie will start basically scrunching up. And then once the elastic is through both ends of the scrunchie, you can either sew the bits of elastic together, or the way that I do it is just to actually just tie the two bits of elastic. I think the effort involved in sewing a bit of elastic together is just not worth it. I'd rather just do a little knot in it. Once you've got the elastic with the knot in it, you've basically got a scrunchie with a hole in it. So all you need to do then is to tuck the raw edge of the fabric into the neat edge. So basically the bit that you folded down at the start creates the neat edge, and then you just tuck in all the raw edged fabric into that neat edge, and then put a little stitch just over to keep those bits together. I just used the same standard stitch that I did on the rest of the scrunchie, but if you wanted to jazz it up, I suppose you could use like a zigzag stitch or something. And then that's it, that's your scrunchie complete. So there you have it, that's how I made some scrunchies. Are they the best scrunchies in the world? No, but I like them, and I'm going to make a lot more of them, because who doesn't want a scrunchie and face mask to match? It just feels like it needs to be. Thanks to Pauleen and Phil for inviting us to take part. As I said at the start, there are a lot of other channels taking part, and everyone who's taking part in this week's DIY will be linked in the description box down below, so make sure you go and check them out. I've seen some of the things that have been produced for this DIY, and oh my gosh, they are amazing, so you definitely need to go and check them out. We'll be back next week with another Mer-May on Wednesday. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you need to come back and see. Thanks so much for watching. If you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below if you aren't already subscribed and you want to see more of Mer-May and our content in general. And once you're down there, click the notification bell because you may as well. And in short, do the YouTube stuff, and we'll see you next time. Bye!